Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Smasher. In fact, we're going to be looking at the most broke tank in the game. So that is what we are going to call the video, because this tank is the most broke tank in the game. Why is it broke? Now, everything about the tank, I mean, it's got good armor. It has crazy penetration. It has good reload, good accuracy, even good speed. Compared this to the tier 6 KV2, it is absolutely insane. Now, I bought the tank because I tested the tank a long time ago, and I told Wargaming that this tank is going to be broke. So they released it with the same stats as it was when I tested the tank. So straight away, I am buying this shit. Regardless of how much it cost. Well, regardless, it was a little bit expensive. But I just wanted to get my hands on this tank because I knew that I was going to play the tank. Even if it cost like £30, I was going to play the tank. So I was actually getting my money's worth because it's a fun tank. It really is a fun tank. Now, we're going to watch this battle here, which is a tier 8 battle. And then we're going to just look at some of the stats on the tank. And then we're going to show you a crazy, crazy replay. So, compared to the KV2, I mean, it's got a 16-second reload. 16-second reload. It's crazy. The KV2 has over 20 seconds. Now, heck, I would have still bought this tank if it was the same accuracy and the same reload as the KV2, because it still has some crazy heat penetration, which we're going to talk about after this game, just how good the heat penetration actually is. Now, I load more heat than I do AP. I mean, I've got 8 AP, I load more HE, and I load more heat. We do 800 damage there to a IS, nice fire, a heavy tank, tier 7 heavy tank. Now, my idea for this battle was I wanted to flank round. I didn't want to leave my team to the left, but I was hoping I'd sort of be the only one so I could get side shots, because you could really, if you can get that HE out, you can really do damage. Now, also in tier 8, you have a lot of heavies. You have a lot of heavies with a lot of armor. You can pen the front of these heavies like butter with the heat. And if you don't want to use the heat, just splash them with HE. You can still do 400 damage splashing these tanks with HE. So that was, RNG wasn't on my side there against the Type 62, but already we've got 1700 damage. We're still full hit points. Yes, we are 2 tanks down, but there is a few tanks that are low hit points. So there goes the Type 62, and now we're going to deal with this Yag Tiger. And as I've said, that was HE, nearly 400 damage just with a HE splash. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that and not taking any damage in return. 590 block damage. Now, the hull on this tank isn't strong, but the turret is actually really, really strong. And what I find funny is, I mean, easy there. Heat into the front of a Yag Tiger, no problem whatsoever. What I find funny is when you're in a tier 6 game and you come up against a KV2, the KV2 cannot do nothing. It can't do nothing except splash you with HE. It can't one-shot you, it can't, the AP can't penetrate you, but you, against the KV2, you can pretty much HE him anywhere on his turret and you are going to one-shot him. I mean, also the hit points of this thing, 1435. Just look at that T25 up there, 1000 hit points. So you've also got 400 hit points more than that guy. That T44 up there, I have basically the same amount of hit points as a tier 8 medium tank. So what were Wargaming thinking when they released this tank? Now, a lot of you will say that it's a collectible tank, it can be nerfed. Yes, that's correct. And I'm not going to say I wouldn't mind it getting nerfed because I paid real money for this tank. But I wouldn't be surprised if, and I wouldn't really be too upset if it was nerfed, because God, it needs some kind of nerf. I don't know how they're going to nerf it, but it needs some kind of nerf. Now, T32 there, side of a T32, no problem. Tier 8, yeah, doesn't matter. My HE will go through him. Easy. 3 kills, we block 900 damage, 4,300 damage. We also make 104,000 credits. We get the ace, high caliber, 1,345 base XP. So now we're just going to quickly have a look at the stats. Check blitz stars, just to look at all these stats compared to all the other tier 7 heavies. This is the majority of the tier 7 heavies, and then at the end we're also going to look at some tier 8s. So at the moment on the screen we have got the Pramo. So this thing has heat, and even with heat it has 2006 DPM. Without the heat it has 2356. Compare that to a T29, it has 300 more DPM than a T29. The Tiger 1, it has just less than the Tiger 1. The AP, fair enough, it's a little bit on the low side, but it's a KV2. It's a KV2. It's supposed to have low penetration on its standard round. But we're not going to... The standard round on this thing's not important. We're not even going to look at the standard round. It's going to be very occasional you're going to shoot a standard round on this tank. So we are going to look at the heat and the HE. So even the HE pen is 94. Again, on a T29, 53. Tiger, 44. IS, 61. So it's way above anyone else on the HE pen. Way above anyone else. And even if we go to an IS6, IS6 has 61, Object 252U, 68, and so on and so on. So it has more HE pen than pretty much any tier 8 in the game. And the damage per minute, you could do 960 with the HE, and that will give you a 3,500 DPM, which is pretty good. So not only has this tank got more penetration on its heat than any other tier 7. I mean, the tier 7, as I've said, T29, it has 245. Tiger 1 has 237. The IS has 217. KV3 217. AMX M4 223. The M6A2 E1, which is a great tank, 245. The Tankenstein is nothing. Nameless 220. So it's way above everything else in its class with the HE pen. So at the moment we're just going to get rid of these tier 7s because we're not interested in these tier 7s. We don't want to know these tier 7s. What we want to know is what this tank is compared to some tier 8s. So as I've said, we have got the Pramo round, and just look at this Pramo. 275. The IS6 is Pramo 270. 252U 265. Chieftain 235. AMX 5100 263, VK 265, and so on. So apart from the T34, which has 297, this has more heat pen or more Pramo pen than any other tier 8 heavy. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So again, we're now going to just take off the tier 8s and we are going to just add the KV2. So let me find the KV2 with the 152. So here we go. So the KV2, yes, I know it is a tier 6, but the penetration is very low. I mean, 84. So the penetration's not bad for the HE on the KV2. But the KV2 doesn't have heat. It has 2 lots of AP. And even the AP on the premium AP on the KV2 doesn't beat the standard AP on the Smasher. Also, it does less. Well, it does the same damage. So the rate of fire is 3.68 on the Smasher and 2.76 on a KV2. The reload 16.3 on the Smasher, 21.7 on the KV2. Shell velocity again also much better. Aim time much better. Dispersion much better. The only thing this actually sucks compared to the KV2 is it has 6 degrees instead of 7 degrees of gun depression. Now, I would still buy this tank if all of these stats here, apart from the heat, take away the heat. I mean, the penetration, the alpha is pretty much all the same. But I would still buy this tank if it had the same rate of fire, the same reload, the same aim time, and the same dispersion as a KV2. It has the same speed. I would still buy the tank. I would still buy it. But 275 heat penetration is just too much. It is too goddamn much. So we're going to go back into the game and we're going to watch this last replay. It is truly amazing. So this last replay, we're going to watch someone whose name is Fuckner. Yes, you heard that right. His name is Fuckner. And he is in a platoon of smashers. Now, his platoon mate is not going to do the greatest. And it is Castilla. So they are all going to push round the back. They're not going to go the heavy side. They are pretty much going to go the medium side. Now, I wish that I had the RNG that this guy has this battle. It starts off with so much RNG, and it's just like, dude, seriously? And it even ends with an AFK. So he does great, and he does a fantastic battle, and it ends with an AFK. So just watch this RNG. There is a T-54 lightweight up the top. No problem. 1022 damage. Didn't even need to fully aim in to get that shot off. So already he has 1000 damage to a tier 8 tank. Now that tier 8 tank is pretty much now out of the game. He's a one shot, and there is not going to be a lot that he can do. So he's just going to wait, and he's just going to wait and wait for his opportunity, and then he's going to fire that gun when he can get his opportunity. Now, his platoon mate has pushed a little bit too forward. You can see he's already lost half of his hit points. But quickly, while we're waiting, people were going to say, why haven't Wargaming nerfed this tank? Why haven't they nerfed it? But before we talk about that, there is a WZ-112 that is nearly 500 meters away. 732 damage to a tier 8 heavy 500 meters away. It's crazy. So why haven't Wargaming nerfed it? And yes, it's a kind of it's a collectible. So collectibles can be nerfed. So why haven't Wargaming nerfed it? Wargaming doesn't like nerfing premium tanks. They can nerf premium tanks. People say they can't nerf premium tanks because they're premium tanks. They can do what the hell they want. It is their game. If they want to nerf a premium tank, they will nerf a premium tank. Another 700 damage there. Nice fire. So that's 3 shots, 3 RNG shots already at the start of the game. So Wargaming can nerf what they want, especially collectibles, because we buy them knowing that they could be nerfed. So why haven't they been nerfed? Now, this is kind of like a Keniotsu. So the main reason why they haven't nerfed the Keniotsu is, yes, it's broke and it's insane, but there just isn't enough of them in the game to ruin the balance of the game. So not many people own the tank to actually break the balance. And that's the same for the Smasher. Yes, when you're up against it, it is frustrating. And when you're in it, it is amazing. But because it was for money, and not gold or anything else, it was for money. And it was actually quite a lot of money. Not many people bought the tank. So because not many people bought the tank, it doesn't really break the matchmaking. And I know I might get ripped apart for saying that, but I mean, I don't want the tank nerf. I think it needs nerfing. I own the tank. And I'm saying nerf it. It needs the nerf. But when there's not many people that own the tank, say 5% of the community own the tank, or I've just made that number up, it doesn't ruin the balance of the game. And I mean, yes, as I've said, if you come up against it, you're going to totally disagree. But how often do you come up against a Smasher? Do you play tier 6, 7, and 8 and have a Smasher in every single game? Probably not. I mean, yes, I see a few of them, but not every single game. But having said that, regardless of how many people own the tank, this tank needs a nerf. I mean, 15.2 seconds reload he has here, which means he's running the rammer. He isn't running the calibrated shells, which I would definitely run the calibrated shells because that gives your heat pen and your HE pen just insane. I mean, look at that. That is red all over. No problem. We'll switch to heat and we'll take him out. So now it is 2 versus 2. He's already done 5,000 damage, which is an insane amount of damage for a tier 7 anyway. So he's not going to get any shots on this ISU. The EXP is going to take the ISU out. And now all that remains is a tier 7 heavy that is AFK. And so we're going to speed this up because we don't want to watch him finding this tank. And of course, he does find him in spawn. And he does get lucky because his last remaining teammate is nowhere to be seen. So now there is just 1,450 XP to burn through. So he's going to switch to the heat and just look at that heat pen. It's crazy. You can't do that on a KV2. Even with premium ammo, you still struggle to pen the heavy tanks with the premium ammo. You're going to get behind the tank, no problem. So 1,400 damage in 2 shots. And he ends the game on 6,600 damage. So that is the most broke tank in the game. Do I think it's going to come for sale again? Honestly, I don't think it will come back for sale. If it does come back for sale, then it truly will be nerfed because so many people are going to buy this tank because it is broke. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. No, please don't be salty on me. I'm Meadsy69. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.